Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt186, and today, or this morning rather, I'm taking a look at the TUF M5 mouse. Now, if there's a reason that I got the TUF M5 mouse, it was mainly to match the TUF laptop. That's probably one of the worst reasons to get something, but nonetheless, that's what I did. That's why I got it. So we'll start by talking a little bit about specifications and move through some other things, including button click sounds, and a little bit about the software that I use with it, which is the Armory on the laptop itself. Now, as far as what sensor it uses, I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't find anything definitive or concrete, and short of taking it apart just to look, which I don't typically like to do with things that I have, just in case I can't put it back together. But short of taking it apart to look and see what it is, I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, a 3300 series by Pixar is most likely what it is. It's a 6200 DPI sensor. The mouse polls at 1K, which is 1000 hertz. And I noticed with liftoff tests and such, it did pretty well, which we'll cover in a minute. Now the switches are 50 million click Omron switches, which is pretty cool, especially considering the cost of the mouse being as low as it is. You start to get some of that quality stuff mixed in with it. However, the actual material it's made out of is the tough plastic, heavy duty material. And if we're being completely honest, it just kind of feels like cheap plastic. While the sides look like they have a rubberized kind of grip feel, they don't. It's just hard plastic with some protrusions on it to help with grip. However, I find this to be quite uncomfortable. After playing for a while, your fingers might get a little bit slippery, and touching those small protrusions on the sides, whether it's left or right, will start to become a little bit irritating to do. The mouse is listed as ambidextrous, but a true ambidextrous mouse to me is not one that just looks asymmetrical. It's one that actually has function on both the left and right sides, much like Gambius's Apollo mouse that I use in a size comparison I'll show you right here. Now these mice are all from smallest of the small mice that I know of, that I have anyways, that I can show you, to the medium-sized mouse that the M5 is, to a much larger mouse such as the G703 by Logitech. The reason it's important to talk a little bit about the size of the mouse is because that may influence your grip style. Personally, I find this only to be very comfortable to use if you're a claw gripper. The back does protrude up pretty high, so if you want to palm grip it, it's something you can do. However, this is definitely, in my opinion, more towards claw gripping people. Now I mentioned the liftoff distance, so let's pause here and I'll show you that. And I also mentioned things like the Omron switches that you may be interested in hearing on this mouse. This hard plastic design does make the mouse a little bit louder than most other mice, but it is a pretty satisfying click on depression to actuation. So let's pause here and you can listen to the buttons. Now the mouse can be synced via RSync, via the Armory really, so you can go into the Armory and you can set it up and sync it in there with other peripheral devices such as a ASUS keyboard or any other RSync compatible devices. That way it's kind of in line with your color scheme, color spectrum type deal. So the four main things it comes with the Armory program is static colors, a cycle, reactive, and breathing. The color cycle is the one I typically keep it on, which just kind of cycles through the colors and kind of does what I do with all my devices anyways, which is just kind of cycle that RGB color through it. Reactive is, of course, when you click. If you ever typed on a keyboard where you type and it makes that reaction click so the colors go spreading wild, but pretty much the same with the mouse. Unfortunately, the part where you see the RGB is typically under your palm, so that one seems sort of counterproductive anyways. It'll essentially look like it's off until you click a button, and then it's reactive. And static, so that you can match your color scheme, whether you're red, blue, yellow, whatever colors you go with. You can pick the colors off of a color chart in there and match your colors to your color scheme of your keyboard, mouse, headset, whatever else. Of course, again, RSync if you wanted to match it with other RSync compatible devices. Now on top of the mouse, between the left and right click and just below the scroll wheel is a DPI swap button. You can swap between two different DPI profiles that can be saved to the mouse. I do kind of wish that you could put more there so you could go through more than just two, that is. But as of right now, all I can figure out to do is have the two on there, either a lower setting and a higher setting, instead of like maybe up to 4 or 5 profiles like we see on a lot of mice. Now the mouse weighs a total of 80 grams, which is about 2.9 ounces. So it's a pretty light mouse in my opinion. It's kind of that sweet spot of too light to almost light enough, but wish it was a little bit heavier. It's a pretty decent mouse, especially for its price, but is it something that's going to blow your socks off? No, you kind of get what you pay for with it, and I think that it's cool, especially for the cohesive TUF brand, if that's what you're doing. If you're going with a tough kind of design, then this one fits the bill. There's also a slightly cheaper one called the M3. I have not tested that one, but again, I haven't had hands-on with that one. It's kind of a nice thing to kind of go with that cohesive brand feeling. However, it's not something that I would probably prefer or necessarily recommend people to. It's not a bad mouse. It's actually quite decent to use, but I find myself not enjoying it as much as other cheaper mice like the G203. This one's got something, but it just feels like it's missing something too. I hope that makes sense. Anyways, if you have any questions about it, be sure and post down below. I am still actively and currently using this mouse with the TUF laptop. If you have any comments about it, things that I missed that should be mentioned, definitely say it down below and get your comment pinned so other people are aware of that. You guys have a great day, night, whatever it is, and I'll see you in the next video I do.